your host, Snipersky Locks with Trupa. What's going on, brother?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good, man. And we got a special guest, which is awesome. Like I told you guys in our last couple episodes, we were going to have a special guest come on with us. We got the man, the myth, the legend, sports betting education, Cody Dunlap. What's up, brother?
Hell yeah, man. I'm pumped to be here. This is awesome.
Love it, man. Dude, obviously, for those that don't know you, why don't you give us a little background about yourself and what you do? Because obviously it's really special.
Yeah, dude. So, man, I've been betting on sports since I was a little kid, playing fantasy and tournaments on different websites I could find under like my dad's info. And I launched the sports betting education YouTube channel 7 years ago. Back then, it's crazy. Like sports betting was still underground a bit. It really didn't blow up until about 4 years ago or so. Now it's insane. Everybody's doing it. But back then, like no one was really doing it where I grew up in Texas. It was all people like in New Jersey or in Nevada, places like that. So I ended up putting sports betting education on TikTok, making a ton of money in 2021 off that. And then it went full-time into content, sports content. Now my main focus is the YouTube channel. So it's fun, man. Every day you're just trying to find winners and you're just praying that you win every single day. It's just a cycle, but it never gets old. For some reason, it's just exciting.
Yeah, we talked about that before the podcast started, didn't we? That it just doesn't get old.
Yeah, no, it's like it's a different rush for sure when you see your picks green out and it hits your bank. It's like there's no feeling like it. But back in the day, I guess when you first started sports betting, would you bet on like any sport? Was there a sport that you kind of stuck to? What was kind of your go-to?
Yeah, so the first time I got into it was when fantasy football was kind of blowing up. So I was about 11 years old, I was born in 93, so that's like 2004. And I remember in 2006, like fantasy football really blew up the early 2000s. Then 2006, MLB.com, which back then I used to go to all the websites. It was so different then to get all my info. And MLB.com did this free to enter fantasy baseball tournament where you're in a 12-man league. The league winners go into a postseason tournament. And I was like, dude, this is free to enter. This is crazy. I was 12, so it's crazy how young I was. But my first thought was I'll just make 12 emails and I'll control every team in the league. And then I'll stack one team. And then I'll make that my mom's team because then she can collect the 10 grand. And it's fucking nuts, man. Like, oh, dude. My brain works a lot different than most people, I've realized. And for a 12-year-old to do that's insane. But like I was obsessed with it. I was just itching to get home from school. When the bell would ring, I would like fucking almost power walk, jog home. Like I was so antsy to get in the house. And then I would sit at my family's desktop computer and I wrote all the emails and passwords on pen and paper. And then I built like 30 leagues. It took hours, like hundreds of hours probably throughout the season. And then the crazy thing is, bro, this is all in like February, right before MLB starts. So probably like 7th grade going to the 8th grade that I'm doing all this. So then we get through the season and I've got all these teams. I remember it was like Ivan Rodriguez was like the best catcher. Joe Mauer was like a second-year player or something. David Ortiz, Ryan Howard, like Carlos Beltran. Like I remember all these old school players. Stacked all the teams, and I got 2 teams into the final 32. One of them was the fourth seed of 32, and one was like 18. And I was like, holy cow, dude, one of these teams is going to win it because I have the best 2 teams in this tournament. And then they did an audit and saw that all those teams were from the same IP address, so they like kicked me out. But I was so close to 10 grand at the age of like 12 or 13. And it's just, I look back on that and it's like, man, I've been itching to make money off of sports betting and fantasy since I was a little boy. So that's like the origin story. That was my first memory doing this. And then of course, like I would always win fantasy leagues in high school and stuff, but
you're taking it serious since day one.
Dude, that's awesome. Have you always loved sports? Like, did you grow up playing sports? Did your dad kind of just show you the ropes, or what kind of made you get into sports?
Dang, man, it's crazy. My dad didn't really push it I wish my dad had mentored me and kind of helped me a little bit more, but I just gravitated towards them naturally. So I don't know what happened, bro, but my parents got me this hockey, like carpet hockey set, and now I play the same thing with my son, but I played carpet hockey when I was like 4, and I was just obsessed. And I guess my parents put me on teams, and I just loved sports. I don't know why, but just naturally, I just chose to kind of.
No, that's awesome.
I like that.
But now as an adult, I see these teams and I see how everything goes, and it obviously would have been fun to play sports at a high level, but really, man, a lot of these athletes, like, they're not in control. Like, even NFL receivers, like, Olave didn't even get the fucking ball thrown to him all night. Like, imagine being him. He had a terrible night. I'm out here gambling. I'm having fun. So I look at where I'm at now versus the athlete, and it's kind of sad. A lot of these athletes, man, like, obviously the ones that make hundreds of millions, they're in a good place, but a lot of them, they end up retiring from sports when they're probably like 30, and they have no skills other than they were a freak athlete. And then they got to figure out how to navigate life. Whereas I've been dominating life the last 10 years while they've been playing football, and their whole identity is just a football player. And it's like, okay, cool. You're born with freak genetics, but you got no skills. And even when you were playing, the coach was telling you what to do. You had to show up at this time to this and this time to this. Like, you never actually got to build anything yourself or make an impact. Now, some players make an impact, but most of them don't. In a team sport like football, there's so many players. The impact is so minimal on the game.
Yeah. I was going to say, Cody, like, obviously what you're doing, a lot of people dream of. Would you say you were, like, pretty successful right from the beginning? Was there a lot of different side hustles that you tried to get into, or was it always sports betting from the beginning?
Yeah, I always wanted to find a way to bet on sports for a living, and I was always obsessed with that. I remember when I first started, I didn't have enough money, so I was a broke college student. But I was like, you know what? Now's the time to practice, because if I burn through a bankroll now, it'll be a small bankroll. It's not going to kill me. And then one day, once I get my job, I'll be able to put a couple $1,000 in and try to flip that up. So that was my mindset when I was like 20 in college. So I'd put $100 into an account, and I would do $2 bets, and I would just see, hey, can I get this $100 account to $120? And then if I can do that, I know that one day I'll be able to turn $100,000 into $120,000. And I kind of measured it off that. But of course, my emotions took over, and I burned through the $100. Started doing bigger bets as I would lose, and I would just burn through it a couple times. And then I was like, oh wow, you really got to be careful, because if you start losing and then trying to double your bet amount, you literally just burn through the whole thing. So I learned that with $100 accounts, which was good, because it wasn't like a ton of money that I burned through. And that's kind of how I got my practice. And then I went on a MTV show, a survival show. And when I got off that, I had camera training, and I knew how to talk on camera. So I started the YouTube channel. When I started the YouTube channel, I made a how to bet on sports if you live in Texas video on Bovada. Well, I put my friend referral link in that video. So about once or twice every week, I'd get $100 in my Bovada account because that video was on YouTube. And that was pretty sweet. Like, I would just check it randomly, and I'd be like, oh, I got $300 in here. Okay, let's use this to bet with. So basically, I had free money to bet with that whole time throughout college, because that one video. And looking back, my brain wasn't programmed properly, because if I just used common sense, I should have been like, oh my gosh, one video is getting me $300 a week. Maybe I should just make 50 videos like that, like if I could go back in time. But that was kind of my first taste of affiliate marketing. And then after my TV show, a guy that was a fan of mine from the show saw me, and he's like, dude, my wife and I just watched you on TV. Like, look at this YouTube channel I'm doing. So this guy was in the Army. I was in the Army National Guard too, but he's in the Army. He's deployed, and on his deployment, he's posting one free pick a day on YouTube. And he shows me his PayPal, and he's got $111,000 in there selling picks. So I'm like, holy cow. people are paying for sports gambling picks. This is insane. So that's when I launched sports betting education. Didn't crack the code right away, obviously. But yeah, man, it's been a process. And now it got so much momentum on that YouTube channel. It's really on cruise control. And I'm so grateful that I'm at the point where I'm at now. But it's awesome. I have an audience to share my opinions with every day. And a couple thousand people listen. So it's so much fun, man. It's really a dream.
I think that's like the best part too, is like the upfront cost to get started is basically zero. It's just your opinions and predictions on games that happen throughout the week. It costs nothing, but people will pay you for your opinions, and you can start monetizing it. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it's insane. I mean, it's insane how back in the day, like you used to need a bunch of money to start a business, and you had to physically do stuff. Now you just, on your lunch break, record yourself on your iPhone, upload it every day. And before you know it, you'll be making $5,000 a month off of the YouTube channel. So it's crazy. And I mean, as I've gotten deeper into this, I've learned, like, if you do win in sports betting, you're going to get banned quick. So last year I crushed it on Prize Picks. I got myself banned, everyone in my family banned. We all made like $10,000 on the accounts and got the accounts banned. But like, that's not that much money because I have to split the money with them because they got to pay the taxes because it's all in their name. And then it's just not scalable. Like, it's 1 year making $100,000 probably. You can't make a living off that. So it's so crucial that you do sell picks. That's what's sustainable long term. And even this year, you know, it's better. Crushed them. That was like my biggest day ever, $21,000 and last Saturday. And then they changed their rules so that I can't use the strategy that was working for me. And that's why it's just so crucial that you have a community and you have a channel. And not only do I make money when I'm eating better and winning these picks, but I also made a bunch of money when I brought all my following to download their app. So there's all these different ways you got to negotiate with the app and just do the best you can to make every dollar you can and make everything count.
I am curious. Every app has like different rules. And there's probably almost 100 different apps you could bet money on. But right now, like in 2024 in October, do you currently have like a favorite app to gamble on right now?
Bro, it changes every day. Do y'all feel that way?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Crazy. Like, if you asked me that question last week, I would have been like, Better's the best in the game. Now I'm like, I don't know if Better's even useful. I withdrew all my money from them. I was like, damn, we had so much momentum. That was a good thing. So, I mean, Dabble's probably the best one right now. They give you $25 just for getting the app. Like, you don't even have to deposit money. And then they pay 35x for a 6-10. So Dabble's pretty freaking good. Geez, a lot of these apps, man, have good things and bad things about them. So I kind of keep money loaded in each app. And then I will build a play I like. And I'm like, hey, let me compare what the payout is on this app. And I figure out where the highest payout is. But the one I'm really going crazy on is DraftKings Pick 6 because it is truly peer-to-peer. And I mean, the payouts tonight, dude, were freaking unbelievable. And I almost hit several 6-mans. It's heartbreaking, really, because I did the math and I'm like, damn, any one of these would have paid me $13,000, and I just barely missed 3 of them. I'm like, bro, it could have been a $30,000 night, but instead I probably lost like $2,000 or something.
Yes.
It's crazy. You went from a $100 bankroll 7 years ago or something like that to now $13,000. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, dude, this past weekend was nuts. I got killed on Saturday. It was like my worst Saturday ever, and I lost $15,000. And seriously, I went for a walk that night, went to bed, woke up, and I'm like, bro, I don't even know if I'm ready to do this again on Sunday because I'm like, I cannot watch these accounts go to zero here because they all went down quite a bit. And I'm sitting there with like $5,000 in each account. I just lost about 7 to 8 in each one. I have 2 accounts I'm talking about. And I'm like, hey, let's just trust the process. I'm not going to lower my unit size. It's just variance. I had a bad day yesterday. I might have a good day today. And then I come back, I basically win all the money back. So I'm like, okay, cool. Break even on the weekend. I'm in a good place. And then there's 2 plays that are 8-mans that I have $200 on each. One play I sent out to all my clients, and I need DK Metcalf and Geno Smith. The other play, I grab my wife's phone right before the game start usually. I do all my work, and then I'm like, all right, I got 30 minutes. Let me lock in all these plays for you. So I lock in all these plays for her. The other play's on her phone. And I must have locked it in 10 minutes before kickoff on Sunday. That play needed Stafford and his receivers. So I'm going into the final 5 minutes of each game. Both teams are coming from behind. And I'm like, I really just need one of these to hit. Now, of course, the play on my wife's phone hits. So she won 17 grand off that. So we break even and then another 17 grand. So it ends up being a great weekend for me. The thing that's so frustrating as a content creator and as someone who sells picks is had DK hit, which he should have. Geno Smith did an insane play at the end of the game. Like 7 seconds left. He steps up in the pocket, and DK is coming across the field about 5
Wide open. Wide open.
So Geno's running, and instead of just shovel passing it to DK, because DK is the 6'4", 230-pound freak, let him run with the ball, and he'll probably run through someone. Geno runs it himself to end the game. Makes no fucking sense, of course, but a lot of these athletes are not the smartest. They're just really good at sports. And
hearing that breaks my heart as a Seahawks fan because I hate that crap. You know, I just think gosh.
I mean, the good thing is the Seahawks have a great new coaching. I mean, they were held back by their coaches for years. Their new offensive coordinator is so good, and it's awesome to watch them now. As soon as they get rid of Geno, if they could trade for Michael Penix, they would be unbelievable. That team would be. But the thing that's crazy is, had that play hit, all my clients would have just hit one for like 80x. And what happens when someone pays you $40 or $25, whatever they paid for the weekend, and then they hit an 80x that they might have $10 on, they just make 800. You can sell them a month pass for $500. And then all of a sudden you sell 200 people a $500 month pass and make 100 grand. And the most frustrating thing, I guess, after that happens, is people comment on my video. They're like, I was on VIP. Why wouldn't you send me that one that hit? I'm like, bro, I locked it in on my wife's phone 5 minutes before kickoff. I don't stop locking bets in till the last second. I just keep firing. I'm getting 20 grand down on some of these days. And I'm like, obviously, bro, if I could have chose, I would have sent you the winning play, because then I could have upsold you on the year pass, and I would have made 100 grand. But they don't get it. They think that I'm just fucking them over just to laugh at them. And I'm like, bro, I need that to hit just as much as you do, man. I'm sorry. I wish it hit. We got.
Some people don't understand the multitask grind. You're over here with the phone for one side, and you're trying to do it over here. I can only imagine. I've been trying to do that on my own for my own clients, and I'm over here holy crap, how do I try to lock in last second plays before kickoff, but then again get it on the VIP or my free group. I'm just jeez. So just hearing that definitely is a little more music to my ears, thinking, oh yeah, Cody's human too.
You don't want to send them too much too, because then if they get slaughtered, they'll lose their whole account. So it's that perfect mix where you give them enough to where you can, you can spread out the units to where you can diversify, right? But you don't want to give them 50 plays and then it's a terrible weekend and then you just slaughtered them and they'll never come back. So it's such a balance.
So funny you say that.
There's always people complaining.
Saturday I literally went 0 for 15, and I'm starting to learn these things that you're talking about, Cody, because when we started Saturday, 0 for 15, you get a whole bunch of babies and complaining and, oh, you suck, I got scammed. And it's just people are so short-term minded, where if you don't hit, 10 for 10 to start the weekend off, they're so upset. And I start babysitting them and I'm like, bro, just chill. It's going to be okay. It ended up working out for my guy, Rocco Beck, on Iowa State. I don't know if you guys watched that game. but that was my favorite pick. I know there are a lot of upsets, but kind of a wild weekend of football.
So you ended up profiting the late night slate, got you some wins.
Yeah, we literally got slaughtered all Saturday. I ended up posting on my website saying, "Hey, Rocco Beck's my favorite pick." I took him and Noel. I paired that duo with like literally almost every duo I possibly could have, and I literally told my VIP members, "Hey, this is either gonna make us stupid rich, or we're gonna go broke betting on Rocco Beck." Paired it up with like literally as many duos as Prize Picks would let me. And yeah, he hit 215 with like 4 minutes left in the third. And dude, we like complete 180. But if we didn't hit that, I would have lost like all my clients.
Did you hit any on Restrepo and Keanu Ward?
Yeah, one of the duos was that the Miami one.
That was another one that was crazy.
Do you have a futures bet? I know you're a big, like last year you did a futures bet on Washington. That was absolutely insane. Do you have any future bets for NFL or college football this year?
Yeah, man, I did one before the season, but in hindsight, I feel like right now is a great time to lock in futures, and I should have just waited. But I don't know. I was excited, dude, but we'll see what happens, man. I mean, I need Miami to win the ACC. Thank God they won that game. Who knows what's going to happen? They should win the ACC, though. They should, but we'll see. I mean, Clemson's going to be there, and that's about it. And then I need Utah to win the Big 12. So we just got to see if Cam Rising comes back. Most bizarre injury. Like, his hand's hurt, but he's giving high fives. Full-speed high fives to his teammates when they come off the field. I'm like, how the fuck are you missing 3 weeks for a hand injury? And you can give people high fives, but you can't throw a football. I don't understand what kind of injury that would be. So it's just like unbelievable. And then the Jets, I need the Jets to win 11 games, and they lost to the Broncos at home. And then they're about to beat the Vikings, and everything will be good. We'll be 3-2. And then Mike Williams' back shoulder throw doesn't even know what the hell's going on. It's like there's no chemistry. There's no chemistry with Rodgers and his receivers, and it's like it's the most insane thing ever, man. But
hopefully Devontae can go to New York.
Yeah, we need to get him quick, dude. Like it's almost getting to where it's too late almost. So we'll see what happens. But the good thing is I'm in a good place, man. I had a really good September. If that shit loses, it's all good. My main focus is to build my DraftKings accounts on Pick 6 to $1 million. And obviously, if I do that, I'll be very happy. But even if I get it to $300,000, $400,000, it would be an awesome feeling. And basically, my wife's account, my account, I've got $15,000 in mine, 25 in hers. So we're at 40 right now. So I just got to turn the 40 into more. And I withdrew 30 grand from Better. Withdrawing 30 grand from MGM as soon as it's possible. I need to get on that. And I'll get that in. So then I'll have about 100 in there. And then I just got to go crazy, man, and turn the 100 into – I just have to 10x it between now and February pretty much.
I was going to ask, how old are you, Cody?
31.
So I guess, like, you've accomplished a whole lot by 31. I mean – you've done 6-figure months. You just got a green Lambo. I guess my question is like, how long do you want to do this for? Do you want to retire soon? What is like your long-term goal by like age 40, age 50? What's kind of your plan?
Shit, man. I'm just trying to keep leveling up every month, every day. And dude, who knows? It's crazy, but like I always would have thought if I got to 6-figure months, I'd have more than enough, but it's just not enough. But it's really not. It's crazy how it works.
Do you want a second Lambo or what?
What'd you say?
I said, do you want a second Lambo or what?
I definitely do. I almost traded mine up the other day, but I got to build the garage first. So I've got land. We're building a house. Once I get the house, close on that, I'll see where I'm at. And then I've got to build the backyard. I got to build the pool and the turf area. And then I got to build a separate driveway and build a garage. And then I'm going to fill the garage with crazy cars and just keep making content. That's kind of what's motivating me right now. But yeah, that's the why. You know, you got to have a why. You got to have a goal. Otherwise, it's like, why am I trying to make money? So I'm trying to make money to, one, afford the house, which I'm getting close to where I'm in a good spot for that, probably soon here after this month. 2, the swimming pool backyard. 3, the detached garage, man cave, gym where you put the boat and the Lambos and all that. And that's pretty much what I think about when I wake up every day and I'm trying to make money. I'm like, I got to fill those buckets. Like the backyard might cost $300,000. The garage might cost $300,000. I don't know, but I just need to build it up, right?
Texas long term, or maybe Vegas?
Not Vegas. It's just
Can't go to Vegas.
It's honestly kind of shitty there, dude. I went there. I looked at houses there. I could definitely get a house there, but there's too many cracked out homeless people. I mean, it was
no DFS apps are legal there either. So
none of these DFS apps are legal there either. But what I was gonna do is, you can drive to Arizona, you can drive to California, so it's a pretty good location actually.
And you can drive to Utah actually. Boom.
Really?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm in Utah, and
these apps work in Utah. I don't even know the laws in Utah.
All of them, literally all of them.
Holy cow!
That's why I can use them. It's just when I go down to Idaho to visit family, I'm getting screwed.
That's a crazy place. Yeah, Vegas is close, but dude, yeah, literally, I went to get a Monster out of a gas station, energy drink, and this homeless lady yelled at me, man. And I was like, bro, this place. And what's crazy is people that are from California, from Vegas, these people don't know any different. So they're just used to the bums. Like, my friend lives in Philly right now, and we talk about how insane it is there. And these people are from these areas, so they're used to all of these people from random countries, homeless people cracked out, yelling at them, begging for money. And where I live in Texas, we don't have any of that. Like in San Antonio, you've gotten a lot more since the borders opened the last 4 years. But in where I'm at in Dallas and Frisco, dude, I haven't seen one homeless person in Frisco, and I've been here for 2 years now. So it's hard for me to go to another place and see all that. Even when I go to Florida, it's a complete mess. And now you've got the government. Have you guys looked into how they basically inject steroids into these hurricanes to make them like?
Dude, everyone says it's man-made, and it's literally about to hit my house in 2 days.
Look at the direction. It went out, and then they sent that bitch back in. And
bro, dude, it's
I heard about this, and I was like, there's no way. And then I start doing research, and I'm like, fucking A, dude, it's crazy. Like,
weather warfare, and planes are just flying around, just checking it out. Dude, it's scary.
Dude, you got the cloud seeding it back to you, and it's the strongest hurricane ever. Fucking insane. And what they do, bro, is they demolish these places. Because if you go, like, I've even thought about this when I go to a nice place, like when I went to Hawaii this past year. I'm like, man, it's so fascinating how there's literally dirt poor people living in areas where their land they live on is worth millions of dollars because of the location. And I'm like, just because their family owned it for the last 80 years, they're here. And they have this block of land with this shitbox house on it worth $2 million. And it's just crazy to see that the government can just laser these fires in, demolish the whole place, kill people. And then the government gets to come in and just claim the land. And then they get to build empires on the land and just make a bunch of money and make it a tourist destination. And have y'all seen that clip of Biden where he is talking about the blue? Like, we need to, like, what are we going to do about the blue roofs? Because what's crazy is anything blue didn't get demolished at all. It was like protected. You guys may not have done research.
Wow.
I have not even seen
You
that.
got to look into this.
I've heard about it, but I need to watch it.
So what's crazy is in America, the way our culture is, we're programmed so well, and it's so obvious what people are doing. Like what they're doing to us. But in America, people are like, oh, it's conspiracy theory. This guy's crazy. And it's like, that's exactly what they want you to say, bro. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, just look into this stuff.
Kind of like Kanye. Everyone's like, oh, he's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't follow all the stuff he says too much, but I mean, potentially, yeah, like the first reaction. Now, sometimes these people are dumb, right? Too, so you got to be careful of that. But in China, they're so much more aware. These people put blue tarps to cover their roofs, and I'm like, this is fucking nuts, dude. So it was crazy when I saw that video of Biden. I was like, that is fucking nuts, because Biden has lost his mind. He's got dementia, so he'll actually say things that should be kept secret because he just doesn't know where he's at. And it's kind of sad for him, but it's crazy to see him, what he said in that video I saw. I was like, bro, after I just learned about all this flu stuff, and I'm like, this is the weirdest shit ever. And it's so sad too, because you're telling me they can build a hurricane to just completely bury towns underwater, and then they can't put out fires. Like, it's crazy, bro. It's just sad, but I feel safe. I feel safer in Texas than some other places, and the haps are legal here. And I'm just trying to build my little compound to live a good life and just focus on the gambling. Because you get into these rabbit holes and you see how messed up everything is, but there's nothing you can do about it. So I'm like, I just need to build my compound, get all my stuff that I need there, and just focus on the gambling and try to hit a parlay every day.
Dude, it's wild because like as I've gotten like more and more invested in sports and sports gambling, it's like everyone's worried about their homes, the hurricanes and whatnot. And it's like all I'm thinking of is like, all right, it's Monday night right now. The next football, well, I guess there's a college game on Tuesday, but the next real game is Thursday night. It's supposed to hit my house Thursday morning, and all I'm thinking is like, okay, I'll probably lose power for a couple days. Like, am I going to be able to fire bets, and am I going to be able to like watch the damn game? That's like all I think about now.
Dude, you got to take some of your money and drive your family up north and get a hotel room, bro.
In Georgia, maybe there's DFS in Georgia. It's pretty good.
Whatever state's legal, yeah. You got Georgia right above you, yeah. But, I mean, shoot, I don't even know where you got to go to escape that hurricane. Wherever you got to go, dude.
Dude, it literally covers, like, the whole state. So it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Driving into North Georgia, just keep going up there. Didn't Georgia just get hit by a hurricane, though? Another one?
Yup, like 10 days ago. So, yeah, stuff's crazy.
I haven't looked into this because I've been so focused on sports. So you got the Carolinas, or did Georgia get hit?
So it came from the Gulf. It hit like the Panhandle. So from like Destin down to like Tampa, the whole place just got flooded. It went up through Georgia. I think it broke a dam, and then went into North Carolina, broke another dam, and just everything got flooded by like 5-10 feet. And then literally,
you probably got to go up the Florida Panhandle to Panama City Beach to safely place these bets.
For this one,
west.
Yeah, that would be the best time. Yes, is go to Pensacola, Destin, over there.
We got Sean Robinson over there too. You could teach him some stuff. And Panama City Beach is a good place. Everybody's nice there. They talk to you. They greet you when you buy stuff. It's like a small town. Everyone's super nice. It's crazy. It's one of the most positive places I've been to in the past 4 years.
I know you started a school group. Skylar and I were a part of that school group where you basically teach people how to basically like monetize selling sports picks and growing pages on different social media platforms. Do you find more fulfillment in like placing your own personal bets, or do you find fulfillment in like helping others grow and make money themselves? Like what brings you the most fulfillment in all of this?
That's a good question. I mean, when you hit a parlay, there's nothing like it. But also, like, seeing your success is probably more fulfilling, more exciting. I guess maybe less exciting in the moment, but it's more of like a happiness that will last a long time, where I'm like, dude, you did it. You escaped the slave life, door to door. And I don't know where this came from. My wife probably found it cleaning, but I actually have my old door to door Vivint ID right there, boys.
Oh my God.
No way.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, I can relate to you guys, what y'all are doing so much, because I feel like everybody gets into door to door, and even the guys that do well at it, they just dream of a day where they don't have to do it anymore. It's just, there's nothing worse than like bothering people and trying to sell them face to face when you could just record a damn video and people could just buy, and you never know who they are. The money just comes in, everybody's happy. So it's like, it's awesome to see you guys. And what's fucking crazy to me, guys, is the people I recruited to door, they're still fucking doing it. And like, even the guy that recruited me to door, I'm like, why don't any of y'all just make a sports page? And they're like, I don't like sports or whatever. I'm like, you don't like home security either, but you learned about home security and sell it, right? Like, it's not like you give a shit about what you're selling. Like, trust me, you can learn to like sports if you learned all this shit about these cameras and stuff that you sell and solar, you know what I mean, and all that. So it's cool to see you guys do it. And, you know, Tyson, you have successfully achieved it. You just got to keep going. And we'll get both of you guys cranking soon. But yeah, I'd say definitely teaching people, but I'm pretty much done with it because it is so much work. It's so much easier just to sell gambling picks. But I learned a lot. I got to meet Alex Ramosi, so that was sweet. So I don't know. I'm letting my school group ride until it, you know, fizzles out. I'll probably close it down in a couple months here. I've closed it off to new members for now, pretty much, or I don't promote it. And then I'll probably shut it down in a few months just to get everybody through football, because I don't want to back out on people when everybody's having their breakthroughs right now. But yeah, definitely is more work than it's worth, at least in this niche, in this industry. But I also feel like, man, I see some big school groups, and some of the stuff they do is pretty sweet. I've actually came to the realization that having a school group where you coach people that have school groups is definitely the best position to be in. There's this guy, Max, that has that. And it's just genius, bro, because everybody that has a school group, they're constantly convincing their followers to pay to be in their group. So like, this guy doesn't even have to convince them to pay to be in his group because they're already doing that. It's like just one level above, just coaching the coaches. And it's dope, man. Because my churn rate's been through the roof. I mean, people get into my group and they leave all the time, and they shouldn't, because as soon as they leave, something happens where they could have made like an extra 50 grand and they quit just to save a couple $100 a month. But I'm also like, okay, I can't help how people's brains are programmed incorrectly. I just have to recognize how they're programmed and then deal with it. But I've seen that a lot where people leave and I'm like, bro, we're getting better codes. What are you doing? Like shit like that. It's a fucking tax write-off too, the school group is. And something mentally about if you're paying for coaching and you're selling coaching, it's easier to sell the coaching. Because when you're selling your picks, you're selling a digital product. So if you know in the back of your mind, hey, I pay $200 a month to be in this group, you know, like, hey guys, digital products are worth it. Paying people is worth it. So there's just a lot of benefits from being in these paid groups. But I'm definitely going to back out of my school group here soon. Recharge, regroup. I might build another one day, but it was a good run this year. It was a good experience.
Talk about really quick, just interacting with Alex Ramosi. What did you learn from him that you're probably applying right now to all of us?
Shit, man. I've listened to all of his stuff. So his book, $100 Million Offers, is like the best book that I have found. And one thing I implement from that book is scarcity. So I sell my picks and I make it limited to a certain amount of slots. It makes them sell way better, way faster. And then the other element he talks about in that book, man, is he talks about how the implied work. So my two offers, right, is gambling picks, and then I'll teach you how to build a sports page. Obviously, the better offer is teaching you how to build a sports page. Because if you have a sports TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or Twitter, you can make $100,000 a month off of that for the rest of your life, really. I've been doing 6-figure months and football season months the past 2 years. Like this last month, I felt like I didn't really hit my stride because I lost the first half of the month. And then I just tallied up how much I made, like $130,000. I'm like, dude, I'm on track. I just got to keep doing this. It's crazy how easy the money comes in because there's so many streams of income, right? But I'm sitting here, bro, and my gambling picks cost like $400 a month. You have access to learn how to build a gambling page which I make $100,000 a month off of, costs $200 a month. And I can't get anybody to pay $200 a month to do this, but they buy my gambling picks. The reason they buy the gambling picks is because in their heads, they're thinking it's zero work. It's zero work.
A handout.
And if I pay for the coaching, I got to put in work. I got to edit videos. I got to make videos. I don't want to do any work. So Hormozy's example is like, hey, if you have 2 fitness coaches and one says, hey, I can get you a 6-pack, but it's going to take 12 weeks of eating right, working out, training hard. And then the other guy's like, hey, I can get you a 6-pack. You just have to take this pill. It's a magic pill. People would pay $10,000 for the magic pill because it gets them the result they want faster with less work. So that's why selling gambling picks is so fucking powerful, more powerful than anything else that you could sell on the internet. And that's what I've learned. And I was like, kind of like, why is that? But his book breaks it down. Now, when I went out there, the thing that I learned just observing the room is we had 10 people, the 10 best people on school that had school groups. And what I realized was the number one thing that they were worried about is churn, which is people canceling and leaving their group. Now, I prefer to sell a full season up front or a day pass. I don't like to get people on monthly reoccurring revenue for my picks or for my coaching. Some things, like if you own Netflix, that's a good one. But I feel like some things are better sold just buy this today. Like if you think about Starbucks, right? They wouldn't charge you $100 a month to get Starbucks drinks for the month. People would be like, no, I'm not doing that. But at the same time, people are spending $100 a month on Starbucks. They just pay $7 a day or whatever they pay a day, right? 30 days a month. They end up paying $210 a month. But if you were to say, hey, I'll give you unlimited Starbucks this month for $200 a month, they'd be like, hell no, even though they're paying that. So I don't like monthly reoccurring revenue for that reason. I feel like I can hit higher numbers not doing it. But school, you have to do it to go to the school games and stuff. So I did it. All 10 of these people are complaining about how people cancel their groups. And in my head, I get it because people come in, they get what they want, and then they leave. But the thing about school that's so genius, Sam Ovens made it, Hormozy invested in it, so they're partnered right now, is they charge $100 a month to people like me. Well, I'm never going to cancel that because my school group's over here making $15,000 a month right now, right? And at its peak, it was making like $45,000 a month or $50,000 a month, whatever it was. So I'll never cancel the $100 a month. So what I learned was you have to basically trap people into paying. If you're charging monthly, you have to trap them into it. Almost like if we're paying for Odds Jam or we're paying for Player Prop Shop. Like if you're using Player Prop Shop for your scripts, you're never going to cancel it because you're paying $100 a month for it. And those scripts might save you an hour a day making your videos. So there's certain business models where you're basically trapping your clients where they have to pay every month because they're making so much. And that's what school is. And it's such a genius business model. So I'm like, man, it would be equivalent to if I somehow structured my group where it was like, if you leave this group, your promo codes for these apps we promote are inactive. And then people would just pay $100 a month to keep their code active. That would be the solution. But these apps would probably be like, what the fuck are you talking about if I tried to negotiate that with them? But it would be equivalent to that. So that's what I realized. I was like, wait, we are all just playing a low-level game here, making our $50,000 a month of our school group. Whereas Hormozy and Sam Ovens, they're playing a higher level game where they got us paying them $100 a month and we're not even considering canceling. So that was something that hit me pretty hard. And then literally this week, I recognized the best school group on school is this guy's group. His name's Max. He coaches people that want to have school groups. It's fucking genius. And he has, because think about it, every person on school probably has had the thought cross their mind, damn, what if I had my own school group? Like, I feel like a dozen people from my school group have started their own school groups. So I'm like, man, every person on this app is a prospect to him. And on top of that, if he does convince them to launch their own group, if you refer someone to school, you get 40% of the $100. So you get $40 a month. And just as I explained, the retention rate's super high. So he's got his group $150 a month, and he's got a higher level mastermind, and he's getting the referral commissions each month. So I'm like, man, this guy is making fucking millions off this. And I'm like, that's kind of interesting. But just like we talked about earlier on this call, sports betting is so much fun. I don't know if I could dedicate my life, man, to training people on a school group. It's so fucking boring. Like, I'd rather just try to hit parlays, you know? So I'm
like, man, shoot. Hitting parlays would be not only be fun, but you're just winning all the time. Well, I would say majority of the time. Obviously, we all know you're never going to go 100%. You're never going to have a quote-unquote a winning record, but I think that's what I've learned the most in your school group is, and just your mentorship in general, is like, dude, once again, if you have the best player props with the best payout on a certain app, and let's say you have 20 picks, but one of them hits or two of them, you're breaking even or you're profiting, and you went 1-20 or 2-20, you know, and people are gonna be like, or I'm sorry, 1-18 or 1-19 or 2-18.
Yeah.
Like, how did you? That's not winning. Well, it's like, yeah, it is. Do the math. Your unit size, do all that math, multiply it, and then subtract what you already invested and your profit, and then there you go. There's your margin. It's just like, you know, people don't get that. They just see a losing record, and that's where they're like, nope, you suck, and that's not true.
Yeah, it's funny. It's hard to teach people this stuff, and it's kind of frustrating because there's people that just pick heavy favorites every day, and they make their money, and they don't really help anyone win. But they don't have to explain it because it's like kind of they tailor the stuff towards dumb people. Whereas the strategy we all use, we need people to have a certain level of ability to understand math, or else they're gonna hate us. Because I have a calendar on Pickett from last month. I ended up making like 27 grand off better last month, and one app, one account, $200 bets all month, or 100 for most of the month and 200 at the end. And my record was like 20 wins and 200 losses. It was nuts. And I tried to explain to people, like, when you go 20 and 200 and you make 27 grand, you got to understand there's going to be some 30-game losing streaks in there. Like, there's some stretches where I lost 30 in a row. And most people can't stomach that. It's really hard, even for me. I know the math. And, dude, I'm telling you, on Sunday morning, just yesterday, I went to the gas station. I was like, fuck, dude, I just need to record a video, get my emotions out, let the guys know how I'm feeling. And it's crazy how Sunday everything turned around for me. But it's like, it's such a beautiful thing, man. You can be humbled so quick when you bet this kind of money. And then you can be on top of the world the next day. And it's fucking crazy, but it's like, I wouldn't want to live life any other way. It's a crazy rush right now. I don't know if I'll be able to do this my whole life, but it's hard to stop because it's so fun.
I had two questions for you. I know we're getting close to the end, but when you met Alex Hormozi, did you ever consider, start using the nose strip?
Yeah, I've done some research on that too. I need to get the surgery, honestly, because my nose I can barely breathe out of. So I've got a couple things. I got this thing that I put into my nose, and it basically opens the nostrils. And my son will find it. My son will find it, and he'll hand it to me. He's like, nose. And then I put it in for him. But those things, yeah, they're amazing. I don't wear them like in public like he does or anything. But I need to get the surgery, dude. It's on my freaking to-do list. But
dude, I always see those things on like TikTok ads where it's like, oh, this is going to help you breathe so much better and blah, blah, blah. And obviously Alex Hormozi and even Andy Elliott, I feel like are pretty big into the nose strip.
Dude, I wish I had learned about it sooner, man, because everybody, like when I work out or when you run, they're like, breathe through your nose, keep your heart rate down. And I'm like, bro, I will pass out if I. Yeah. I'm like, I can't breathe through my nose. I don't know why, but it's because my nostrils are clogged, right? Deviated septum, and I just need to get the surgery. But yeah, I've messed around with those, and they're great. I mean, makes sense why he uses them because they're game changing. When you go from not being able to breathe through your nose to breathing through your nose, it's a big deal. There's a lot of science behind it too, on like how unhealthy it is to mouth breathe.
Mm-hmm. And my last question, Cody, is: does money can money buy happiness? Does money bring you happiness?
Shoot, man. Yeah, it's something I think about a lot too. You definitely want to draw the line, not get too wrapped up in it. I think there's a lot of people that don't know when to pump the brakes, and all they think about, all they do is money. Yeah, I think about money a lot, but I also have to remind myself, why do I want the money? Money is just some made up shit that humans made up. And I did that TV show for MTV in Fiji. And when I was out there, I saw village people, kids that are in villages. And it was so dope. Like, their happiness was through the roof. And I was like, this is unbelievable. There's no money in these villages. There is no money. It's just everybody helps everyone. You go fishing and you help each other fish. You eat the food together. You play rugby together or soccer together. And I'm like, man, this life that these people are living is the best life ever. And then here we are. We got all this technology, all these screens, money, and all this shit that we do. We eat fake food. I'm like, damn, this stuff's pretty crazy to think about. So, yeah, I think about it a lot. But obviously, you need money to reach that full level of happiness, I think. But then also it's slippery slope. You don't want to just get ruled by money either. But, man, it's a tough time to be broke right now in America. Everything's so expensive, so I would not want to be broke. But I see a lot of rich people, and I don't think they quite understand what the point of money even is, too.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Facts. Cody, just to kind of end things on the sports side, okay, what was your favorite college game you watched this last week, and your favorite NFL game as well?
Okay, yeah, probably Miami, the Miami game with Restrepo and Cam Ward. That was insane. I got screwed though, man, because I got kicked off a better. They blocked my strategy, so I couldn't use them. Prize Picks has me banned. They changed their rules. It's crazy that these apps are literally changing the rules because of me and my followers over the last year. So I'm on DraftKings Pick 6. Well, they don't let you pair the late night players with the early players. So that beautiful game just went to waste because the only people I could pair it with were like Texas Tech players and stuff. But it was a great win for my Miami futures bet. And then Sunday, man, I don't even know. It was such a blur, dude. It's like my brain's fried when I finish these Sundays. We'll
recap this real quick. We had Tampa Bay versus Atlanta on Thursday night. That counts as NFL, right? From the Thursday.
Great game, yeah.
Sunday, you had everything. We had the Colts in a shootout with Jacksonville. We had
that was the best one. Colts.
You think so?
Joe Flacco.
Now,
we also had Tennessee in Baltimore.
If Pittman had hit, I would have hit so much. But we got Brian Thomas Jr., Christian Kirk. I had Flacco with Downs and Pierce as well. So I hit everything in that game except for Pittman. But, man, I love betting on Flacco. I don't know why his line was so low. But, what he did with the Browns last year was insane. And one thing I've learned, man, is quarterback play used to be at a really high level when the Mannings and Brady were in the league. So people look at Flacco and they're like, he's a middle-of-the-pack guy. But, dude, he's a middle-of-the-pack guy in the early 2000s or the late 2000s. But he's a top-tier guy in today's because they don't find smart people at the quarterback position. That's why Brock Purdy is so good because he's smart. They're looking at guys that are great athletes like Lamar, but he's a fucking idiot. And he can't get through playoff games. He can't throw with accuracy. He can't read a defense. Lamar probably can't read a book. If you've got a Harry Potter book in front of him, ask him to read out loud. He probably can't even fucking read, let alone read a defense. And he's a great athlete, though. He's great at running. So he'll put all these stats up, and he'll win an MVP. But when it comes down to the playoffs, what do you have to do in the playoffs? You have to read defenses and complete 5 to 10-yard passes over and over and over. And that's something that Flacco can do. Flacco has won a Super Bowl. And I'm like, bro, how did the Seahawks not sign him? Put Geno's ass on the bench. You put Flacco in there, the Seahawks with the weapons they have and their offensive coordinator, it'd be insane. The Dolphins, why wouldn't the Dolphins have signed Flacco? The Colts were the only team that offered him. after what he did with the Browns, you see how bad the Browns are with Deshaun Watson right now. Flacco came in and turned David Njoku into the best tight end in the league for 4 weeks there. I don't know how the Browns didn't sign him and bench Watson. It blows my mind, the decisions that these NFL teams make. But I will be betting on Flacco every week, man. I mean, that guy is a machine. He put up like 350 yards. That was crazy. Alec Pierce had like 150 of those yards. So Flacco's going to make us a lot of money as long as he keeps doing his thing like he's been doing.
I do have to ask, as someone who lives in Texas and is a Texan all of his life, is Dak Prescott a Dallas Cowboy QB franchise or franchise QB? Is this guy the guy that Jerry Jones needs to stick with?
I mean, after that last playoff game, it's tough to believe that he can win playoff games. It's crazy. It's to the point where it's like a good percentage of how good a quarterback is to me and valuable is can they win playoff games, right? You look at Flacco, that's why I look at him so highly, because he's won a Super Bowl and he does well in these 2-minute drills. He knows how to keep his heart rate low and make good decisions under pressure. But I'm a Seahawks. I've always been a Seahawks fan, but over the last few years, honestly, I've just kind of rooted for whoever I bet on. So I always look at the Seahawks really closely as a fan, and my wife's a fan.
Are you talking about the Cowboys or the Seahawks?
We're Seahawks fans. Yeah,
you guys are Seahawks fans. Okay.
I was born in Tacoma, Washington.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
And I grew up in San Antonio, so I just decided to root for the Seahawks when I was about in high school. I started going hard, so it was not my whole life.
Okay.
Dude, honestly, I know we're just getting off topic here, but yeah, I was a Dolphins fan since I was a little boy. And I just got so fed up, dude. They were one of those franchises that just it's kind of like how the Panthers are now. I was like, dude, I'm done with this shit. Like, I've been doing this my whole life. These fucking guys are not even trying to win. So I took a year off from being a fan. And then I was like, you know what? I went to Seattle where I was born. I was like, they've got awesome jerseys. Like, the jerseys are so cool. I was born here. I need a team. I was like, let's fucking do this. That was Russell Wilson's rookie year, actually. And I was like, man, that's crazy that they paid Flynn. They paid a guy to come in, and then they're starting another guy. I'm like, this is a team that's trying to do something here. So then I just have wrote it out the last, shit, dude. It's like 12 years, 13 years or so.
Best defense of all time, LOB, baby. Legion of Boom.
Yeah, it was a crazy time. And, it's funny. I've been texting Golden Tate about starting a page, but I don't even know, dude. I assume he has a lot of money from playing. But it's funny, like, I've been telling him, like, showing him what I'm doing. And I'm like, bro, you need to start YouTube. It's just crazy now. The skills that I have are so – that's why I see, like, these football players are really one-trick guys, a lot of them. And not a knock on them. If I could play pro football, that's what I'd be doing too. But they get out of the league, and it's like they haven't done anything except football. So I look at what I'm doing, and it's really cool, just the connections you can make off of learning social media.
I got a good follow-up question with that. So you just mentioned you've been chatting with Golden Tate, obviously a former Seattle Seahawk wide receiver. He played for the Lions, NFL in general, just a really good receiver, super quick. What other connections have you made in the sports world that is probably your favorite? Like, who's probably the favorite relationship you've ever built with?
Dude, funny story. Funny story, dude. Dude, I forget how it happened, but I sent Des Bryant a message because he was posting his picks, and I was like, dude, you should sell picks. You make so much money on Winnable. And he messages me back, gives me his phone number, puts me in a group text. I get on this FaceTime with him, another dude, and then Austin's Props, who's real big on Twitter. He's on Winnable now, actually. Pretty cool. And starts saying all this stuff, and I don't really understand what his vision is, but he's excited, and I'm excited. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm talking to Des Bryant. And it's crazy, bro. So it turns out the Hispanic dude that was on there is probably about my age or so. It's kind of like, I guess, got him into his ear and it's kind of like managing him, right? And I don't know what they're up to now, but they go on my Instagram a week later or whatever, And I'm hyping Dez up in the comments, being supportive and stuff. And he's got this plan to sell picks. He's selling it on fucking Patreon. So he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm like, bro, Patreon's the last place to sell gambling picks. You got to get
I never even heard of Patreon.
Yeah, me neither. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Patreon's like where people with YouTube channels get, people basically subscribe there as extra access. I guess it's like a school group kind of. But
it's like Goodwill for selling picks.
It's a weird place to sell picks for sure. But dude, they see my coaching program, an ad I'm running for my coaching program, and they think that I stole their idea. And I'm like, dude, I've been coaching this for like over a year. Like, look at my website. These interviews are from a year ago. But like, they were also super passive aggressive and angry at me. And they're like, you know what you did. And I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. And I really want to know why y'all are mad. Y'all are dumbasses, obviously, but like, let's communicate here. Like, why are y'all mad? Anyways, bro, it was because I made an ad saying, hey, if you're a former athlete, right? And dude, I was working with Golden Tate before Dez. The reason I reached out to Dez is because I'm like, this guy's actively gambling, probably be an easy one to help. So I reached out to him to help him. Then he throws me into this group chat, and then he gets mad at me for coaching people in my school group. And I'm just like, bro, the problem with these pro athletes is a lot of them are so low IQ that like they're hard to fucking work with. And they have such big egos because they've been worshipped their whole life for being the best football player in the city that they grew up. So their whole life, dude, they've been dominating football since the time they were 4 years old to 30, whenever they retired. It's hard for them to not have an ego. And they're not that intelligent because they never needed to learn anything because all they needed was football. So you're dealing with a very difficult type of person. And then the ones that are intelligent, like Golden Tate's super intelligent, he's probably made over $50 million in his career. So he doesn't give a shit about making an extra 20 grand a month off selling picks. So it's like, if they're smart, they got money. If they're dumb, they're dumb. So it's hard to get them to build anything. So now I don't even try to work with pro athletes. I'm like, if people come to me and they're like, dude, so-and-so, they'll name an athlete that's like a big name. And I'm like, not even worth it, dude. Not even worth the fucking headache. I already went through this a few times. No way.
Must be a Cowboys thing, dude.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of dumb athletes on all the teams. We see it. We see it with Geno Smith, bro. He's not the dumbest, but what he did, not giving DK that ball, was just completely. Why would you take the hit as a quarterback when DK? Do you know how much harder DK is to tackle than you, Geno? Like, shovel pass him the fucking ball.
And DK also is fumbling the ball when he's trying to get extra yardage. He did that twice in the last 2 games. Cost us big time.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their strengths and weaknesses, But
I would still give DK the ball than Geno trying to do what he did for sure.
But fucking hilarious, bro. That Dez got mad at me for coaching people, thinking that I stole it from him. Bro, how's this?
Dude, that's insane.
Well, what about this, Cody? What about, other than working with whether you've tried to work with Des Bryant or he's tried to work with you, you worked with Golden Tate, has there been any other connections that you've made where they're just simply friendships? They didn't even want to do sports gambling picks, have a winnable site. Simply they're like, hey, Cody, I saw your picks. This is awesome. And you just kind of built a relationship with them, and they're a famous athlete that's either retired or they're still playing. Anything like that?
Yeah, so another athlete story that was cool at the Winnable house. I went there like the morning after a Winnable get-together. And Michael Beasley, the basketball player, was there. I talked to him for like an hour. It was just funny because it's like we're in this Miami oceanfront house with like an NBA player. It's like
K-State, baby. K-State. There's no one in the league kind of like Michael Beasley. The dude was so unique.
Yeah, he's super athletic. He's so big and athletic. I mean, it's insane. But that was cool. But no, I made dude, really, it seems like there's been quite a few, but one that's really cool is the owner of, I don't know if y'all have seen this Instagram page, but it's Vintage Broncos.
No.
So viral. I mean, you can look it up. You've probably seen it, but just like, you probably were like, oh, that's cool, and kept swiping. But when I almost hit the Washington bet, the owner of Vintage Broncos hit me up. And he actually built a recruiting business. I think it was recruiting. He exited that. He sold it for $25 million. So he made his millions off that. And then he builds vintage Broncos. So he sold a vintage Bronco to LeBron James. He sold one to Dave Portnoy. He sold these vintage Broncos. They're like $250,000, I think, or around there. And they're sick. And I got to meet him and his son and tour their headquarters. So that was awesome. That's really cool just to meet and network with entrepreneurs. And then a lot of the guys that I met through the school games, just good guys that are high-level internet money guys. And then it's just when you're in the sports betting game and social media game, you're usually the most interesting person in the room, which is awesome too, because a lot of people are super rich, but there's nothing to learn from them. Because it's like, oh, this guy owns this snack company where he sells popcorn and it's worth $300 million, but it's like, what are you going to talk to him about? Whereas it's like, dude, you make $100K a month off of a sports gambling channel and you bet $30K a weekend, and it's like, it's such a cool life because you're always the most interesting guy in the room. So it's been cool just talking to people and being interesting enough to where they want to talk to you over other people. But that connection, just meeting the guy that owns vintage Broncos is crazy.
That is so cool, man. So flipping cool. I think I played college basketball for 4 years. I coached 1 year in college. I've done a lot athletically in my career. My favorite thing about sports is the networking and the relationships that you build, because it just goes so far in life. And obviously you have memories on the sports side, but then it's like now that life is happening, when there's like a business venture or there's other things that are happening, there's that networking that matters a ton that you either need or you want to be able to develop, other than that sport that you play with that person or that you connected with that person. So
yeah, another cool one's Adam Brenneman as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's cool because he calls games on Saturdays, and I helped him optimize his ability to funnel people to Prize Picks. And you know what's crazy too is Raz is another really cool story. Just watching him, he did an interview with me, and after we recorded the interview, I showed him how I made money. I mean, he's made millions of dollars, and he's only like 20 right now. So that's been cool.
Great.
But Adam Brenneman and what he's doing is pretty insane. And yeah, just talking to people like that is really cool because they're all trying to make money off their pages, and I've like became the top guru at that. So it's cool to get to help them, have something to offer them, and then also just get to like talk to them. But I would say really at this point, kind of over stuff like that. Like I don't really care about, I don't know what to call it. Like a lot of these people are trying to get on TV and networks, and I don't really care. Like I really just love my followers and guys like you know, people that are building pages that join my school group. Those friendships to me are way cooler than some of these people like pro athletes and stuff. It's like the group chat we three have on this call. It's going to be fun, man, because, you know, the first day that you make $1,000 in a day, it's going to be an awesome moment. And then eventually, a year from now, we'll all be doing 20K days every now and then. And we're like, what'd you do to get that? And then we'll just all help each other. So that's the most fun to me is these small group chats that I'm in where people are really masterminding different strategies and techniques.
That's awesome. I do have one last question that I just thought of because I've done this and I want to know if you've done it. You're 31 now, you said. You live in Texas. You grew up there, so you have to know people maybe through high school that made it to the college or pros. Have you ever in your gambling career bet on those guys that you knew in their college or pro careers on any of these apps? Because I definitely have.
No, I think I'm too old because when my friends were like playing in college or pros, there wasn't really player prop betting. You know, it's crazy. Like there wasn't player props on football games except for the Super Bowl. Like when I was in college.
Okay.
And it was like the Super Bowl was so exciting because they're like, there's all these props you can bet on. Now it's like that for every single game. It's weird, man. Just 10, 15 years ago, there wasn't like deep player props where you could bet on the fifth receiver or the backup tight end over under 9.5 yards. It's nuts. But yeah, no, I don't know anyone actively playing that I bet on. But
because I definitely have, and it always cracks me up. Like I remember just last year. It's so funny. Oh, you said who?
So dude, funny story, man. I was ranting in one of my videos, as I do on YouTube, and I was like, called out Tank Dell because I'm like, bro, $20,000 it cost me because a fucking ball just right here in his face just popped off his hand somehow. And the video is on my YouTube. It's on my YouTube Shorts, and his brother was watching the video and sent it to him, and Tank Dell hit me up. And I always root for him. You know, I bet on him so much. It's no hard feelings. Like, he was trying his best to catch the ball, but it was a fucking terrible drop. And he's had some bad drops this year too. But it just hurts, bro, when it costs you. It cost me $25,000 on 4 counts. And it's like, that's insane. That's insane, dude.
Dude,
it just felt funny that I don't even know what I said in the video that he replied to, but he direct messaged me on Instagram. And I was like, holy shit, Tank Dell. I was like, dude, how did you even find this video? He's like, my brother sent it to me. And I was
dude.
Like,
was he cool about it, or was he just like, bro?
Yeah, he was cool about it. I mean, there's not much for him to even say either. He dropped an easy catch, and he probably felt bad about it, but they won the game, so it probably wasn't a big deal. But yes, it's hilarious. He might be a big player this next week, dude. Nico Collins' hamstring's hurt. Shit, we're probably gonna have to hit him up. Try to bet on him this week.
He's due.
Dude, that's awesome. No, I love stories like that. I have no idea if that will ever happen to me, but yeah, I just recall, just because I know people at either the college basketball or football level, like I'll name one guy because I know him because you bet on Washington last year, but Devin Culp played tight end under or behind Jack Westover last year.
Yeah.
Devin was a 5th-year senior, was part of Michael Penix Jr.'s like group of coming back in Rome, right? And Devin's from my hometown. His family's friends with mine. He's close to my brother's age. So we all grew up together. Devin was an amazing basketball player, and the dude was going to be a basketball player. But also, he just started getting a crazy football body, and, you know, it kind of became a wide receiver tight end, played for a great high school, and et cetera. So, yeah, I watched the kid grow up, and literally just cool to see him at the national championship level and now in the NFL for the Bucs. Just so cool to see. And I have Armani Marsh is another kid that played for Washington State with Cam Ward. He was the corner. And so kids like this, man, they're younger than me. There's other kids that are in the league right now that I'm actually like legitimately friends group with, like since in high school. One of them's the backup QB for Minnesota Vikings behind Darnold. And yeah, you know, it's just cool. So like, yeah, I've done things. I have a friend that plays college basketball right now, a couple actually, and I've bet on them many times this last March Madness. And I'm like, I'm never texting them. Obviously, I would never do that. But in my head, I'm like, come on, freaking make the basket and go get the rebound. Just screaming, you know. And I've been to their games live. Like, they've given me tickets to go see them live, and I'm betting on them. I'm not even freaking telling them this. So it's absolutely hilarious.
I was thinking how funny it would be to bet on your son if he plays. Oh. Like, imagine if your son plays college quarterback and you're just every week on Prize Picks, you're just hitting his over.
Hammering it.
You can't do it. It would be such a terrible story if it got out, but it's just.
I would hammer the under, and then, you know, because I feel like he could control the under a lot better than, hey, go have a good game and take the over. I'd just be like, hey, yo, like, once you get to like 198, just like start stucking.
There's nothing better than these quarterbacks that just throw for 400 yards. It's just fucking awesome. It's like,
hey, you gotta hit 400. You pull a hammy and sit down and say that you're injured. Like, call yourself out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that guy did that in the NBA.
Yeah, do a little John Porter.
That was just nuts because, like, back to what I was saying, bro, about these athletes being dumb. It's like you're making a couple million a year, whatever he makes in the NBA, and you could make that for the next 7 years, maybe more. And the most that you can bet on a player prop is not that much. So what did he have on it? 50 grand across a bunch of accounts? Well, guess what? When 50 grand comes in on the under, the sports books are like, why the hell is 50 grand coming in on this random player? It's like they know instantly, dude. Of course, these people are so dumb, they have to find out the hard way. But it's like, dude, this is insane. But what I've also learned, too, is a lot of it's just genetic, the way they grew up, the people they were around. Like, it's not their fault they're dumb, but it is fascinating to watch. And, you know, I'd be just as dumb as they are if I were them. So, like, I can't even hold it against the guys, but it's like, how did you think that was going to work, man? Crazy.
Yeah, it's absurd. Well, I want to do a speed round really quick. Just money line of the NFL schedule for Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. I'm just going to name off the two teams, and you just give me who you think is going to win. And that's going to be like the
dude, I'm so deep in the props. We'll see how I do on this.
All right. Thursday night, October 10th, San Francisco at Seattle.
What's the line on that?
Line is San Francisco -3.
I would take Seattle plus the 3.
Seattle plus 3, okay. Jacksonville, Chicago, and Chicago's favored -2.5.
Honestly, I might have to drive to the border to hit Chicago on that. Chicago's going to fucking kill Trevor Lawrence. That defense is going to kill him.
This is in London too, by the way.
He'll probably throw 3 interceptions against that secondary, dude. That Chicago secondary is going to kill Lawrence.
They're so good.
I mean, that's probably like the perfect matchup to bet on a quarterback to throw 3 interceptions. It's going to be a mess.
The better boost over 2.5 interceptions.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence to throw 3 interceptions and the Bears to kill the Jacks.
Love it. Now Arizona's at Green Bay. Green Bay's favored by -5.
Definitely Green Bay, dude. Arizona just got the luckiest win ever over the
I know.
Packers. Their kicker got hurt. They're
So
in a down spot. The Packers got to get this win, so Green Bay in that one.
I like that one. Indy is at Tennessee. Indy's favored by -1.
Oh, man. I might need to go to the border to hit these.
Okay, I like it.
The Colts, holy shit, dude. The Colts, easily, bro.
That might be actually the best bet right there, actually.
That might be the fucking – Here's what's crazy. I bet 10 grand on the Bears over the Titans, and I bet 10 grand on the Jets over the Titans. And both games, Will Levis, who's probably not starting this game, handed both the teams the win. Both teams played like shit against them, and Will just handed them the win. Crazy turnovers. The worst turnovers you could see an NFL quarterback make. And I just look at this, I'm like, Joe Flacco is such a huge upgrade over Anthony Richardson. I love the Colts versus the Titans. Love them, dude. And they almost won against the Jags. The Jags had to have a miracle win just to beat them. So I think Flacco's not losing 2 in a row. He'll probably beat the shit out of the Titans.
I like that. Houston's at New England. Houston's favored by -7.
That sounds like a trap line. Everyone's going to bet on Houston. That's one where it's clearly a trap line. That's just too obvious to bet on Houston. But there's no way in hell that I can take the Pats, so I have to sit that one out.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
I'm not falling for it. That's too easy. I'm staying away from that.
I like it.
I bet the Pats +7 covers. I bet they lose by like 6 or some shit, and everybody loses their money.
Jeez. Well, thankfully, with the hurricane issues, Tampa Bay is playing at New Orleans Saints in the Superdome. New Orleans is favored by 2, -2.
Damn, bro. And Saints quarterback just got hurt Monday Night Football.
Literally before we started recording this, that happened.
I think
right after. Sorry.
I think Baker will win that game. I like what the Bucs are doing this year, so I go with the Bucs.
Okay. Cleveland at Philly. Philly coming off a bye week, I believe. So Philly's favored by -8.5.
Yeah, I'll take the Eagles to win by double digits there.
I like it. Now this is going to be an interesting one. Washington Commanders at Baltimore. Baltimore's favored by -6.5.
Wow, that's very interesting. That, I believe, is a trap line, too. I think they're trying to get people to bet on the Ravens. -6.5.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to take a +6.5. So, shit. I'll go with Washington there.
Daniel, I'm with you on that one. I like that, too.
I don't know, dude. It's tough, bro. It's the Ravens.
It's tough.
The Ravens could beat the shit out of them. The Ravens are a team that'll beat middle-tier, crappy teams. They'll go win 12 games, and then they'll lose to the real teams. So that's a tough one, bro. That's one that I would stay away from. I mean, when you've got the Colts over the Titans, I'm staying away from Baltimore and Washington. Just give me the Colts. I'll put everything on that.
We have the LA Chargers at Denver, and Chargers are favored -3.
Damn, I think you got to take the under in that game.
Okay.
Low scoring, right? But
yeah,
I'll take the Broncos though with that defense, and I like Bo Nix over Herbert, both the Oregon quarterbacks. But I'll take Bo Nix in that defense. Sean Payton.
I like that. Pittsburgh at Vegas Raiders. Pittsburgh's favored by -3.
Wow. I'll take Vegas +3 in that one. That's a team that Minshew will beat. Hopefully Minshew's still the guy that they keep pulling him second half, but I need to make sure Minshew's starting. If he is, I'll take Vegas +3 there. And Brock Bowers, take his over, man.
Brock Bowers, okay. Detroit, Rock City Lions at Dallas Cowboys. Mr. Idiot, here we go! Freaking -3.5 for Detroit.
Why'd you say that? What does that mean?
Dude, you do not hear these NFL cadences ever? The worst one is Dak Prescott. He sits there with literally 2 hands looking like an idiot, left foot forward. I'm like, you look like a freaking dummy. Yes.
Jesus
so dumb. He's like, okay, here we go. And then says, let go. And then that the play goes. It's so dumb. It sounds so unprofessional. And you can hear it on the screen, too, when the crowd isn't as loud.
I always like the Cowboys at home. They always play so well at home, man. But I would think the Lions would take that. I'll take the Lions, but that's a tough one to pick.
I love it. I think the Lions are a really good team this year.
They are, but yeah, I mean, same thing last year. Didn't Dallas beat them? They went for 2. Dallas beat them, yeah.
Yeah, probably. Dude, I
gotta be careful. In Dallas, it's hard to beat the Cowboys in Dallas for some reason.
Yeah. Falcons at Carolina. Atlanta's -6.
I mean, isn't that in the Hurricane? Where
they're playing at Carolina and Charlotte.
You got to check the weather. You got to check the weather, but damn, Andy Dalton's such a huge upgrade over Bryce Young. Yeah. They're actually so much better, but I think they'll get the shit beat out of them, just like the Bears did to them. The Falcons.
I like it. Cincy at New York for Sunday Night Football. The Giants. So Cincy at New York Giants. Cincy's favored -3.5.
Damn, bro. I'll take Giants +3.5.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, final one. Buffalo. This is a little AFC East matchup here. On Monday Night Football, Buffalo is playing at at MetLife again for the Jets.
Dude,
-2.5 for Buffalo.
It's the Jets, man. Jets are going to win it outright, and they'll take control of that division. They'll be first place in that division. So I got the Niners with Seattle, the Jets. I bet on both those teams to win their division. If they get a win this week, then they'll have control over it, even with terrible starts.
You know, this is I want your bets to hit, my man, but I think with the Seahawks and the Niners, I just got to see the Niners lose. I can't.
We'll see what happens. Now the Seahawks got new coaches, so it could be new. Because the Niners always beat them before, but now with the new coaches, it's going to be a little bit harder. But still got Geno Smith, and he plays like shit against them, so it's going to be tough in that regard.
That's NFL Week 6. It's exciting stuff. It's a good time to be alive. And Cody, we appreciate you coming on the PowerPlay Pod. We try to film these once every single week for our YouTube subscribers. So, dude, you're the man. Thanks for dropping the sauce. We loved having you on here, and we'll put your socials also in the description. We'll put your sports betting education stuff so people can click, watch your videos, and copy your picks as well. So,
yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. It was fun.
All right, my man. Thanks for having it.